Continuing on, bodily functions. At each successive level of the emergence of the isomonic structural information system, new levels of consciousness emerge. Each body takes on a mind of its own. Reflex action, instinctive behavior, autonomic nervous systems, and several hundred internal senses, such as a sense of hunger, thirst, balance, migration, location, sex, numerous other senses that preserve the body and allow it to unfold its potential emerge. Along with them come numerous subsystems that operate within the human body. For example, prokaryotes, Prokaryotes, are evidence as long as 3.8 billion years ago and were foundations for mitochondria, mitochondria, which are the powerhouses of aerobic respiration. These cells make up the basis of photosynthesis inside one of the later evolved chloroplasts, chloroplasts. From these come the eukaryotic cells, I can't pronounce these words, cells that are the basis of all complex life forms, including humans. Eukaryotic, the word I can't say, are thought to have evolved about 2 billion years ago, quite independent of human life. Still, these things that I can't say are essential to life of the body and live in symbiosis with us. Our entire system of consciousness is interwoven with such life forms, meaning that there's a life form that sort of lives off you. Sort of like a big fish that has a bunch of little fish that eat off of, what the big fish doesn't eat. We got those going on around us. Actually, if you actually see what makes up a human body, a lot of it isn't human. Everything from RNA construction to sexual reproduction is accomplished with the help of what we consider primal creatures living in symbiosis, I can't say that word either, with the human body. Each successive level of their consciousness emerges as part of the whole dynamic by which the potential of each individual manifests. Each level has a conscious order of its own, a set of holodynes that control its behavior and maintain internal coherence. Each is part of our own personal and collective consciousness. Personality. Personality emerges from complex information fields. These include the inner world of holodynes, those that make up every aspect of a body, plus information from each person's counterpart in hyperspace, the full potential self. In our endless attempts to analyze human personality, we have constructed realms of labels for personality traits, positive qualities, as well as pathologies, mental illness, and various disorders. Personality has an implicit order. It is interwoven in the fabric of consciousness with parallel worlds and collective consciousness. Information coming from parallel worlds emanates from the quantum potential field in such a way as to manifest both particle and wave dynamics, so personality functions holodynamically. It is quantum and thus on and off at the same time. No single trait or diagnosis can ever adequately describe a person. Take note. You can never, ever medically diagnose somebody. They may be fit within that diagnosis for a second, but 2 seconds later they may not be. So, little note. Holodynes can take over at a flicker of a thought, and every apparent thing about a personality can change. So, that means that 2012 could be our destruction, and everything's looking that the whole world would be totally destroyed, but in a moment's notice, every single one of us has the potential to change. if you put a diagnosis on somebody and think that that's what they are for the rest of their lives, you're totally wrong. That's why I can see, okay, the whole world is friggin' insane, but does that mean that there's no hope? That just means we need to be cured of our insanity, which means that we just need information. We just need to be aware of ourselves and what we're doing and how we affect our world. The second that we kind of all wake up to that is the second you'll see instant change, and it can happen instantly. Everything can clean up itself instantly as soon as we start realizing who we are. So it's like, share this information as much as possible with as many people. It's not only good for you to know, but if you want to change your world, you want everybody to know this. That's why I take the time to read this. I have to listen to myself, but my message is for you to listen to yourself. If we all found out who we are and listened to ourselves, the whole game changes. It's no good for one person to change. It's got to be a whole planet that changes. But it can't start unless you are your own change, and then be an example, because people will imitate you. Thus, each type of consciousness is a manifestation in and of itself. Both the intuitive consensus aspect of learning, upward and outward, and deductive scientific aspect, inward and downward, of thought, along with its polarizations of feelings, are the manifestation of a still more complex and inclusive consciousness. It is orders within orders of personality. The entire system responds because the holodynes that contain the memory of, for example, raising one's arm, are integrated by focus. They emanate a quantum coherent message that all microtubes respond to and orchestrate a coherent activity of raising the arm. Crazy making works in the same way. Each pattern of a personality, each type of thinking or feeling, takes place within the context of the individual. Each has its own boundaries or event horizons from which it functions. Each takes place within an individual in a specific arena found, for example, within the center of each microtubular, emanating from the potential of the individual. Such potential may be manifested in other specific organic systems, but at least this is one place where it is physically evident. Dualism, such as particle wave perception, or even something like masculine and feminine dominance, are built into the nature of organic mechanisms. The mechanisms are only part of the cause of continual conflict within the individual. Dualism also plays a part in the conflicts among groups of people. They are responsible for creating many of the core issues of contention and fractures within personality, identity, and community. In seeking to resolve such conflicts and internal fractures, a universal process for resolution is evident when the individuals are able to withdraw from the dualism and access the holodynamic dimensions of reality. In other words, to observe the observer and discover what holds personality together. So that's like, don't be going around judging the rest of the world. Why don't you focus on judging yourself? When you want to have an opinion about other people, why not have an opinion about yourself? If you want to give advice to other people, why don't you reflect and see if that advice works for you in the same content? That's when you start reaching your full potential self. You keep putting out your vision of what's perfect for you out into the world, but you don't want to jump into your vision of your own self. Kind of interesting. Where did I leave off? The most common response to observing one's own observer is to enter an altered state in which the potential of the entire individual emerges. This individual potential is characteristically experienced as some form of supreme intelligence, a superposition from which all possibilities exist at once. So universal is the occurrence that I come to refer to the superposition of individual potential as the full potential self. Now, like I said, when I was looking for this book, I was looking to prove something. I wasn't looking to find an answer to anything. I kind of seen some things that nobody else is explaining. And this is one of those things that if you are severely abused and you leave your body, we have heard stories of people seeing themselves on top of the room. People that have had near-death experiences leave their body and they can see the operations that are taking place, in the hospital. Similar experiences happened to me, although not in that extreme, where every time I move forward in life, I kind of take a look at myself from outside of my body and sort of looking down on myself to see what I look like. And while there, you can see what everybody else looks like. So that means that you're not on a one-on-one in the moment of something. You're actually looking from a different perspective. You're able to see both sides of every argument. And you can go out even further. You can go out and look at your community from that and see how it functions. You can go out and look at the globe and see how it functions. And when you look at life from a totally different perspective, just to see what it actually looks like, you end up gaining a lot more information. You not only see yourself, you see how you relate with other people, you see the driving force behind other people, and you see how you interact, the dance that goes on. The emotion gets you caught up in the one-on-one. But if you can detach yourself from emotion, which is friggin' hard, then you can see a much bigger picture. But that's what this guy is talking about here, is observe the observer. Those familiar with the dimensions of consciousness from which the full potential self operates soon come to realize that the entire information field of each person is specifically organized by the full potential self. It becomes self-evident that no two full potential selves are ever the same. Each person has his or her own unique fingerprints, eye retinas, lip prints, and personalities. Furthermore, when a person is able to consciously access their full potential self, the information received can be used to create solutions to complex problems, to move beyond different dualities and various fractures within identity. The problems that you're having is just your detachment from your full potential self. You're at your lowest potential. And dualism and it is, you have a good side and an evil side, and your evil side is not bringing you everything you want. Your good side has all of the answers, and this is something that is so important. Is we think that there's some people on the planet that just are useless. They don't have any brains. They're they're sheep, and there needs to be shepherds guiding the sheep. And we seem to think intelligence, people that have a higher level of intelligence, should be controlling the masses. I think of myself as being a lot more intelligent than most people. Should I be guiding everybody? No. You need to be your own guide. We need to sort of really wrap our brains around there is no dummy on the planet. Every single one of us has a full potential. Every single one of us are a piece of the puzzle. Every single one of us are relevant. We all have something important to do and important to say. And this is one of the biggest problems with these elites, is they don't really trust in the full potential of everybody on the planet. If you don't have money, if you are, like on a welfare system, however you judge your world, you see other people not as valuable as yourself. But if we trusted that every single person on the planet, if experiencing their full potential self, they all play a major role in how to sustain a whole entire planet. But we just think that if we designed a perfect world, there are going to be some that would take advantage of it and some that would be the workers, and that is just such a pile of crap that even the Venus Project is one of them, where they want to take out possibilities, opportunity for people because they don't see themselves wanting to do that job. But it's the passion of somebody else that's being taken away by the judger who thinks that they're smarter. We can't take away potentials from anybody else.